Welcome, everyone, to the webinar with Debbie DeGroat. I'm Pete Mitchell. I am going to be moderating this. Before we get started, if you would, just go ahead and click into the chat box and let us know if you can hear me just fine. And then we'll get started in just a minute once I've confirmed that you guys can hear this. Today's webinar is how to hire the right administrative assistant. And Debbie is going to be doing this presentation. And as we go through this, if you have any questions for Debbie, go ahead and type them into the chat box, and I'll be making a note of them, and Debbie will stop every once in a while and just ask me if there are any questions, and I will go ahead and bring those up to her at that time. Okay, Kathleen, you can hear. Dave, yep, you can hear. Gary, yes, perfect. Okay, great. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And with that, Debbie, go ahead and take it away.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. Well, welcome everyone to how to hire the right administrative assistant. You know, as we began the session today, one of the things I said to Pete is, you know, this is a super important topic, and yet not my favorite, and I'll share with you why. Because we are all salespeople, right? Everyone on this line is a great salesperson, and so admin is not our favorite thing. If it were, we'd be doing that. But see, that's exactly why this can be one of the most challenging areas of the business for all of you who are really looking to build a profitable business. In fact, in my many years of coaching, 17 plus, if I had to put my finger on one specific thing that drains energy, creates drama, and sucks the profit out of a real estate agent's business, it's most likely going to be the poor hiring decisions that they make, or the lack of even having any administrative help. So what we want to do today is give you some good tips on how to avoid some of that pain, some of those problems. Now, one thing I wanted to do as we get started, we always have some terrific sponsors sponsoring our webinars and helping us reach out and invite you in. And our sponsor today, Dino, with Citywide Home Loans, is just a super great guy. You know, I met Dino probably about a year plus ago. I've been to Dino's office, absolutely beautiful. And Dino does some really unique things. Dino's office, as you can see, is in Newport Beach, very close to the John Wayne Airport. But Dino services a very broad area, a wide array of products and opportunities for you. And he also does a radio show. So he's a man of many, many talents. But I think one of the things that impressed me in spending some time with Dino is truly his commitment to service, how he gets to know each and every customer. And if you have any questions for Dino, if you'd like to know more about his product, if you'd like to know more about how he delivers the A+ service he does, and also how to find out more about his radio show, you'll see all his contact information here. We'd be happy to help you connect, and we'll come back and introduce you to Dino as we go, through the program and end today. So just wanted to say thank you to Dino. I know he's listening, and he'd be happy to help you. And I wanted to tell some of you, I can see your names, and I know you well, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about EXCELLEUM coaching and consulting, because many of you know who we are, and some of you are even in coaching with us. But the reason I wanted to stop on this slide for a moment today is it really does tie into today's topic. You see, many of you, like we do, build your business on finding and attracting great referrals and retaining your terrific customers and clients that you have. Now, the only way we're all going to be able to do that is if we are absolutely dedicated to providing the highest level of service and quality in what we do. And that's where this whole administrative piece comes in. Because while I have, 30 plus years experience in the industry, half of those as a top producing salesperson, selling on average 150 homes a year, half of those coaching fabulous agents like you, who are really, dedicated to growing and building your business. See, if I did not have the high caliber back end support and systems, then I couldn't deliver in the way that we deliver. And so what I want you guys to think about today is, what are the breakdowns in your business that are caused by the lack of proper administrative support or proper systems and procedures? And we're going to try to help you with that today. Now, of course, as always, because we want to keep you on for the entire call, we offer some prizes at the end of the call. An opportunity for a complimentary business strategy session. Because in this topic alone, there is so many tools and resources that we have for you. So many ideas and thoughts that we can share. And it's a little frustrating that I only have a few minutes to do this. So I'm going to go quickly today. I'm going to give you as much content as I can. And yet our team will be on standby at the end of the call if you have additional questions, or you need to tap into some of our resources, and if you need some additional help. We're also going to make sure you have an opportunity to have a complimentary ticket to our next event. We're going to be sending you, when you request it, we won't send if you don't ask, the administrative efficiency checklist, the assistant job description, and then an opportunity to buy my book, actually not buy it, to have it for free if you're interested in it and you pay only shipping and handling. Because one of the sections in that book, we talk about building a business, how to create a business that has systems and procedures. So that may be something that would also be a helpful tool. No charge for the book, just the shipping and handling. All right, so here's where we're going to begin. Are you completely overwhelmed? Do you feel that there are so many projects you just know could make you money, but there's so little time to do them? And are you struggling, though, with who to hire, and then what do I have them do? And because I'm going to be paying them, I have to be completely confident that I'm maximizing my investment of both money and yet also time to train them. You see, I could name names, which I won't, of clients that have come to us over the years who have said, I am literally burning through 6, 8, 10, 12 administrative hires in a year. And this is happening to them, and I can think of one in particular that has resurfaced in my world for the last 10 years. And every single time I speak with this person, they have just hired and or fired a new person. And I said to them the other day, you really need to get into the coaching with us so we can help you improve what you do. Because what is the common denominator here? It's you, right? So if you're in that struggle, that constant process of hiring and firing, hiring and firing, hiring and firing, you are the common denominator. And until we fix you, we can't fix the situation. So again, more profit is lost by hiring the wrong people than in any other area of your business. So here's what we want to do today. When is it the right time for you to hire your first help or your first assistant? And then when is it time to hire that next, hire a great person to join your team? When you hire them, what is the job description and profile of what you would consider your perfect hire? Where are the best places to find them? How to interview and test them? How to set clear expectations? What should their first 90 days be like? And what are the things you should not do if you want them to stay? right? Because sometimes we're guilty of driving away good people. So when is it time to hire help? Well, we used to say, or we used to hear, that for the average agent, it would be 40 plus transactions. Now, some of you, like me, have been in the business a very long time. And you remember back in the day where a purchase contract was one short page. There were no disclosures. There were no physical inspections. It was pretty much what you see is what you get. And yet in today's world, especially in California and some of the other states, the disclosures, the inspections, the paperwork is so massive that I find that for the typical agent at 25 deals or so, they are screaming for help. Now, would you ever hire someone sooner than 25 transactions? Absolutely, that is possible. You see, it just depends on your budget. I think it also depends on your price point. If you were selling 15 $3 million homes, the marketing, the demands, and the things that the seller expectations would be, you would probably need to have some administrative help. However, you might say, I also just want a great quality of life, and I'm willing to give up more of my profit to work less, to do less of the things I don't like to do. But again, we need to look at that and say, when is that point where you can tell that you are stuck? That for you to grow in your business, for you to get home before 9 o'clock at night, and to have a better life, you're going to have to make your first hire. Now, does that person have to be full-time? No, they don't. I will say, though, it is rather difficult, I find, to find a really high-caliber part-time person. They seem to have sort of a part-time mindset. So there are those good situations that would work, but what you may want to consider doing is maybe sharing a person with someone in the office. For some of you, it might be beginning with a transaction coordinator that's provided by your broker, and then working up to a part-time, and then working up to a full-time. Okay, so when you are overwhelmed and you can't grow, you're doing activities that are $10, $15, $20 an hour work, not your highest and best use. And when you no longer have the time to work on the business, to grow the business, that's when you need to start thinking about, is it time to either make my first hire? Is it time to bring on an additional hire? So let's develop your profile. Here's the problem. We've all done it. We hire ourselves. Well, what's the problem? Well, because that person, it's what, the yin and the yang, right? We need that other half. Very common that terrific salespeople are DI, and they're not high C. They're not high S and C. S would be more service-oriented, C would be more analytical, and yet if we hire someone just like ourselves, we're going to find that we don't accomplish the goals that we set out to accomplish in the business. So you really want to think about, I need that organized, detail-oriented person that's got my back and is going to do the things I don't like to do and that I'm not good at. Now, what if I'm not super techie or great with a computer? You know what? Then I need to hire someone who is. Do they need to have experience in the real estate industry? Boy, that is a tough question, because here's the challenge. Sometimes the people coming from the real estate industry are, in some cases, the picked over leftovers. Realtors who didn't make it, so they decided to be admin that cycled from agent to agent, and they're rather burnt out. And I find that sometimes our industry can be rather unprofessional in terms of its administrative skills and practices. So I know some of my clients prefer to actually hire outside of the industry, a more corporate professional background, and then train them. So we could make a list of pros and cons. I suppose if I said, what is my preference? My preference is that they do come from inside the industry. I love to hire in California. I love to hire escrow officers because they have that transactional background, or loan processors, or someone who has a title background. Now, possibly a retired or realtor that, decided it wasn't for them. But if you do that, take one step back and say, what was their background prior to them obtaining their license? Did they have a strong administrative background? Now, as we all know, most of them to do many of the functions that they will do for you should be licensed. Many are not. But in most states, if they're going to talk price, terms, or negotiate in any level, they do need to have a license. But you may find that perfect hire, and you may decide, hey, it's worth it. I'm going to pay to help them obtain their license. See, once you sit down and you're really clear on what you're looking for, they're going to be easier for you to find. And I really encourage that you send that profile out. Contact all your affiliates, all of your vendors, and say, this is the kind of person I'm looking for. And I even encourage you to think about, do I want male or female? What age do I want? Where should they live? Because I've often found administrative people who live too far away will not last. See, as we're coaching our clients, and for some of you that we're coaching, those of you we hope to be coaching, we will help you with this. When you're looking for your hire, we will help you create your profile. We will help you write your ads. And once your ad is out there, we will help you vet your resumes. And I find that oftentimes our clients will even ask us to speak with the one that they think is their prime candidate, just to get our second opinion. So when you're in the private coaching with us, that's some of the services that we can provide for you. So let's look at the job description. And don't worry, you don't need to write this down because we're going to send you a much more detailed list at the end of the call today. But these are some of the duties that we would want to have them do for you. Now, I would chunk this down. So for example, when someone joins you, maybe we start with the first chunk, which is handle the phone calls, open and distribute mail, handle the files, do the data entry, and work with us to upgrade our office policies and procedures. Maybe that is your first 90 days. Because you see, what we tend to do when we bring someone in is we tend to overwhelm them and give them too many things at once. And then they do them all badly or they quit. So I know you want to take all of this and dump it on them, but let's chunk it out. And what's that old saying? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Now, I want to say something about the improving office policy and procedure. That's really important. One of the things that I would suggest you do when you bring someone new into your team is ask them to give you their feedback. So if they see a way that a system can be streamlined, if they think, why are they doing that? That seems an incredibly difficult way to get our end result. Ask them to give you their feedback, their critique, their ideas, because remember, they're coming into this with a fresh pair of eyes. And sometimes we get stuck in a rut of doing things the way we do them, and there really isn't a logical reason, or things have changed, it's no longer profitable or productive. So ask them for their input. What's that saying? Out of the mouth of babes, right? They bring a fresh perspective and new ideas. Now, does not mean you're going to implement them all. Does not mean they're all going to be correct. But hear them out and encourage them to share their thoughts. Now, as we look at this next piece, the accounting responsibilities. Some of you have spouses who handle this for you. Many of you have to manage this on your own, but I will say to you, delegate this one carefully. I don't know if any of you on the line here have ever had an administrative person embezzle money from you, but I know that I have. And it happened to be someone I'd known for 13 years. But what I realized is I didn't have enough check steps in place. I wasn't reconciling my bank statements. I wasn't reviewing the checks, and they basically wrote themselves additional checks. And it took a while for me to realize it, and fortunately it wasn't an enormous amount of money, $35,000 or so. But I want you to keep a tight rein on this. So while it's great to delegate some of those accounting responsibilities, you need to keep eyes on that and make sure you have your steps in place to monitor what goes on. Now, planning. We definitely want to set goals with our administrative people. We want to delegate projects. We're getting ready, hopefully, on the weekend to move into our new office location. Well, for the last 90 days, I've been working with my team saying, okay, these are the projects that we need to be working on. And I want this one done by the time we move. And I want this one done by the time we move. And then we look at our priority action steps, our deadlines, our responsible parties. So you do need to be meeting with your administrative team and giving them goals, guidelines, and deadlines, and chunk away at these projects. Marketing. Wouldn't that be great to delegate to them some of those marketing activities? I do want to share something, Pete, with them right now, though, which is if you need administrative assistance, don't go hire someone who's a graphic designer and copywriter. Because, see, that's a very creative skill, and they don't like admin duties. Very strong admin people typically are not extremely creative on the marketing side. So they can, write some of your MLS comments, create some simple flyers, put your packages together, talk to other agents and buyers and asking for referrals. I mean, they can do certain pieces, but don't expect a strong admin person to fill all your marketing needs. That's probably not going to work. Okay, so where to find them? I always keep a little list. If I pulled out my desk drawer right now, I have a little short list in my desk of talented people that I have met. Either talented admin, maybe a salesperson I want to have join my team someday, maybe a vendor that I haven't yet connected with, people who impress me. Because, see, I never know when I'm going to need to go to that list and grab someone. So keep eyes out for who could be your next grab, even if you're 100% satisfied with your current person. Now, let's say that I need to find someone. Is the first thing I do to put an ad on Craigslist or LinkedIn? No. First thing I do is define who I want to hire, what I need them to do, what I'm willing to pay. Then I go to that short list in my desk and I see who can I reach out to. Next, I reach out to the vendors, the affiliates, and the people I know. Because you see, they know me. So they know my expectations, my style of work. They're likely to be able to connect me to someone. And I would say 50 to 70% of the time, through that network, I can find someone that is my next hire. So that's my process. Now then, if that doesn't work, or maybe simultaneously, I will place an ad in Craigslist or LinkedIn. Perfect example, I recently hired 2 new salespeople for my sales floor. One of them came from a referral, one of them came from a Craigslist ad, and I just happened to find them both simultaneously. Now your database and sphere, you may want to take a look at that and say, is there anyone I know that's a past client, a friend, that could be a good hire. Now, people say, well, I don't know if I want to hire friends or family. That's your decision. I look at it like this. If the relationship is built on this is our personal, this is our professional relationship, if the expectations are clear, if they fulfill the role and have the talent, why wouldn't I give that friend or family member an opportunity? And I have done that. I've had many family members work for me over the years. I fired my sister, I fired Don's niece, but yet in the meantime, I had great relationships and experiences with some of the friends and family members I hired. So just be clear, if you know them, that this is a professional relationship, and if it doesn't work, we're not going to continue. Now, you could use an employment agency, and it'd be interesting, Pete, in the chat box, I'd love to know if any of them have had a good experience, with using an employment agency to find an admin. I have seen my clients try to do that and not have a great result. And I think because our industry is a little unusual, a little bit unique, and it's hard for them to completely get their mind around the chaos, right, that goes on in our world. And I just see them bringing in people and those people blowing out in a relatively short period of time. So it could work. I personally have never used one, and I find most of my clients that would be a last resort, and I see it a little more common in areas like, Manhattan, in New York or LA, some of the much more urban marketplaces, that there may be a more aggressive hunt for these talented people, and they may have to resort to an employment agency. Okay, so Pete, questions so far? It doesn't look like we have any in the chat box at the moment.
So far we've been fine on the questions.
Okay. Pete, anything that you can think of that maybe I've missed so far before we move on to the interview process?
No, I actually just have been soaking it all in. I've always had the philosophy of hire quick and fire quicker. So I like having your system much better.
Well, and so I look at Tony's message where he just says, too, he agrees employment agency is expensive. And so, again, guys, I haven't had a great experience with that. If you have, we'd certainly love, to hear your thoughts on that. And what Pete just said is the common thing we do. We get desperate, we're in a hurry, we grab someone, our gut instincts are telling us this is not the right person, and then they blow out in 30, 60, 90 days, and it is exhausting to go through that. So we want to really up our game in terms of a very professional interview process. Now, we want your resumes, and I think this is just logical, to be emailed to you. Don't give out your phone number, okay? Because we don't want to speak to them unless you like the resume. So I'll give you an example. On our last ad that we put out, I don't know, we maybe had 15 responses. And out of the 15, there was only one person that I was interested in talking to. So I threw the rest of them away, reached out to the one, saved me a lot of time. Now, review the resumes carefully. And Laura, I do see your question, and we'll come to that in just a second. Because in your resumes, you're really going to want to look at not just what they've done in their previous or current employment, but is what they were doing a transferable skill? So I'll give you an example. When I was recently hiring a telemarketer, a salesperson, I had resumes from people who had handled customer service incoming calls. Well, as you all know, customer service is very different than outbound cold calls. So I really want to make sure those skills on the resume overlay what I have to offer. I also want to look for gaps in employment. I want to look at people who are job hoppers. Why are they only here 6 months and they're 8 months and they're a year? There is a pattern going on, and I don't like it. Now, it could be they graduated from college, they started in a position, they moved up. You might see a logical path of progression, and that's fine. But really be wary. I met with someone recently, Pete, who was looking to come to work for the company, and I spent some time with them and just got them to talk and chat about their past. As they did this, I realized that they had, gosh, I don't know, I lost track, in a 10-year span, maybe 20 different jobs. And it was interesting that every job was a layoff. Well, once in a while, good people get laid off, but 20 times? If you're really good, aren't they going to keep you? So you really want to look at that resume carefully. Then you want to do a brief phone interview. Because, of course, most of what our clients will experience with this person is going to be over the phone. So it's not just a matter of do they speak up and sound professional. Are they a reflection of your energy? So you guys can tell I'm pretty intense, pretty high energy. If you talk to anyone on my team, they kind of talk like me. They're not going to talk like this. They're not going to be very calm and soft-spoken, because you see, that's not what you would want to experience. Because if you come to the company because of me, you're going to expect my team to be a reflection of me in terms of how they communicate. I believe in having them take a DISC test. I love the Anthony Robbins free personality test. You can Google it. You can find it easily. And if you read it and you look especially carefully at pages like 13 to 21 on the DISC, it's really going to be very telling. Now, of course, it's not 100% accurate. So I tell my team, whoever I'm looking to hire, take the test. It takes 15 minutes. Do not overthink it or it won't be you. And then I review those results with them, which we call validating the test, just to be sure it's accurate. But I'm going to give you an example. There was a person that applied to be my director of operations. And in her DISC test, one of the things that it said about 4, 5, 6 different ways is how she did not like detailed work, did not like to be stuck behind a desk, wanted freedom to roam about the town, the country, whatever. Well, an administrative role is not that. So when I asked her about that, I said, it says you don't like detail. Talk to me about that. She said, well, I don't know why I would say that, because, I make these custom caps and design them, and they're very detail oriented, and I'm fine with that. But see, right away that was a red flag, because that's a creative skill, not a technical admin skill. Creating caps with beads and sequins is creative, where following a checklist, a timeline, sticking to a marketing calendar, this is a person that would not do that, and it would fail. Now, once we get this far and things are looking good, then we're going to interview them in person. And I suggest more than one interview. I don't always trust myself, because that's when the desperation kicks in. I really need this person, so I override my judgment. So I may interview them, and then I may bring them back for a second interview and have someone set in with, into the interview with me, so they can point out things I may have missed. And again, if we're coaching you on one of our Performance Plus or Black Diamond contracts, we can use a portion of that coaching time to help you with this process. Now, if you like them, give them a skills test. How fast do they type? What programs can they navigate? It might even be worth it to bring them in on a Saturday morning or an evening and say, I'll pay you, I'll hire you. Come in and do a couple of simple projects for me. And that's going to give you a sense of, are they quick on the uptake? How skilled are they really? And you can get a feel for how you might work together. Certainly, check all references. Now, the funny thing is, you would think, well, they gave me a reference, so why check it? It's probably going to be good. I know you would think that, and yet it's interesting. Often they're not good. They just simply assumed you wouldn't check. So check them and listen carefully and read between the lines. Now, once you come to an agreement on your terms and conditions, you want to make a formal offer. And we're kind of a sloppy business on the admin side, this real estate industry that we're in. But I would encourage you to be professional. Put a good agreement together. Be clear on your expectations. Be clear on what your compensation program and plans are. Be clear on the sick days, the vacation days. There's so many things you can Google and find online, so many things that our coaches and we can help you with, but you don't want to have a lack of clarity that will cause hard feelings, confusion, cost you extra money, and maybe cause that person to leave. Okay, now let's jump over to Susie's questions. I thank you so much, Susie, for asking this question. When hiring at Friends, would it be a good idea to hire as a temp for 3 months or so, just to help me get organized, and if the chemistry is working, add them on? That could be, Susie, a really good way to do it. My thought on that would be, I'm assuming that it's not someone that you're pulling away from a great job and you're bringing them in under the guise that it's temporary, because they're probably not going to go for that. Plus, if it's a friend and family member, of course, we don't want to cause them to lose that great job and then we blow them out in 3 months. But if there's a situation where maybe they're not employed, and you can say, without a promise of a long-term hire, hey, I need a little temporary help. Why don't you come in, work on some projects with me, give you a little bit of extra money, and give me some relief? So see, then I haven't made any promises or commitments. If things go well, then I can always extend the offer of a formal position. All right, Laura says, I'm very detail-oriented and controlling. What type of admin do I need? I had 3 so far, and none of them were able to keep up with my expectations. Laura, if you took your DISC test, I would suspect that it would show that you're either very high D or very high C. I know my husband is right about the midline D and very high C, and he's very, very picky about the details. So my suggestion to you would be, number 1, maybe we have to be a little more realistic in our expectations. And then number 2, maybe we need to chunk down your process of what you delegate to them so that it goes a bit more slowly as you ramp them up, but you give them an opportunity to really absorb each piece of the job so that they meet your expectations. Now, some of you have had an opportunity to meet and communicate with Gina, who is, my director of operations here and does a phenomenal job. Now, this November will be Gina's first full year with the company. And now what do we have? September, part of September, October, November. I'm going to share with you, and this is no reflection on Gina's talent or skill. She is very talented. But probably by January 1, which is more than a year, we are going to be where I wanted her to be from the beginning. Now, is that her fault? No. It's a very complicated position. There's many moving parts. We've created a lot of projects. We've launched a new CRM. So it's a lot to absorb. And we really have to be careful in thinking about, all right, how do we chunk it down? What is a good expectation of where they should be in the first 90 days, then in the first 6 months? And I think what you're going to have to do, Laura, is be accepting of the fact that until you feel comfortable, there will be some micromanaging going on. Then, as you get them into place, you can just circle back around and do your checkups. But also, Laura, for you and I, who are very detail-oriented, I admit I'm controlling. I admit I want perfection. I don't want any mistakes. So therefore, you have to pay more. You know, you really have to go out and look for those good hires that are going to cost you a bit more. But when we think about that, look at it this way. It's not X dollars, it's the difference between here and there. So I'm just going to pick a number. Let's say you're saying, well, I'm really willing to pay $3,000 a month. $4,000 a month would be fabulous, but I can't afford $4,000. Well, what you're really looking at is $1,000 difference. And if they're good within 90 days, that should not even be an issue. Question from Michael, what do I think about virtual assistants? I have had some clients that are good, have had good experience with that. I know there's some good companies out there. MyOutDesk.com is one of them. But it should probably not be your first hire. So in other words, for most of you, you need that right-hand person at your desk, at your right hand, catching the things you throw at them. And then the virtual assistant could be your part-time add-on, your inexpensive add-on that your key hire could supervise and manage. So some services, the virtual assistant may make sense for you if you don't have a current admin, but I find that for most people, they're much better off to have their first hire be in their office. Okay, so I see that Anthony Robbins is online. How do I present that to them without taking them to a website? I don't deal with this because my administrative team does, but I believe they just send them the link, that they pull the link and send that to them for them to take the test. Okay, we have hired our person. Now we're going to review our expectations. We're going to help them block their schedule. And I love the how do you win with me, how do you lose with me conversation, which is really letting them know what are deal breakers for you. What's going to make you lose your mind and get angry? And same thing for them. What is the things that will make them crazy that you might do? So have a really open conversation about how you're best going to communicate together. You want to be sure that they know every day I need this from you. Every week I need this from you. Every month these projects must be completed. Everything needs to be in writing. Everything needs to be clear. And encourage them to not be afraid to communicate with you. All right? Training them for the first 90 days. So we want to schedule time, and it's going to be hard. I know you guys are busy, but you're just going to have to accept the fact that you're going to probably need to spend at least 2 hours a day with them for the first couple of weeks. But get some help. Plug your vendors and affiliates into the training. Teach them to train your new admin on how to work best with them. Make sure they're taking advantage of ongoing office training. Maybe you can even hire an agent in the office for a flat hourly fee to chunk out specific things like inputting a listing, making price changes, fulfilling the checklist of requirements to close out the file and get paid. So you might actually be able to hire someone in your office that's very good at that, isn't a big producer, and could help you. Okay, so I'm a little frustrated, guys, because I wish I had time to go through each and every one of these with you. So just to sum it up quickly, just know that your first 90 days, you're going to have a plan. And you're going to have to sit down, turn off your phone, focus, and give them some of your time and attention. Okay, don't go away, because I know this one's going to scare you, but it's so important. Your systems and your systems manual. If you don't already have a manual outlining all of your systems and processes, then you must create that. And in the Administrative Assistant Training Program, which I'll tell you about in a minute, we will actually tell you what needs to be in that manual and piece by piece help you build it. Because see, this becomes your guidebook. You know, this is really fantastic for us. Our team will tell you, anytime we do anything, I say, put it in the manual. Document it, put it in the manual. Because that way I can hire a new person joining the team, or I can hand them that manual and say, this is your reference guide. Or maybe they're gone on the weekend and I need to send a DocuSign contract and I don't remember the passcodes and I don't know how to do it. I go to my desk, I grab that systems manual, I flip that tab open, and boom, it's right there. And Pete, I know you know from working with me, even just on these webinars, remember we started this whole process and I said, okay, Pete, I need a system. How many a month? How are we going to promote them? What day and time will they be on? I need to calendar that because, see, guys, I know if it doesn't have a system and a process, it's not going to be duplicatable, it's not going to be predictable, and therefore it may not be profitable. This is a big section and a big chapter, so I just want to put that out there. You need to begin building this, and we can help you. I know some of you don't like to hold them accountable. I know some of you don't like to confront them. And in fact, some of our clients actually pay us to do this for them, which is fine. Some of my Black Diamond clients have me rotate the calls through their team so that I can hold these people accountable and I can confront them when they're not doing what they need to do. But this is important. You know, you really need to have the accountability of checking up and checking on what they need done, okay, or what you need done from them. And also, I want to be sure that I know what they completed that day. So have them open an email draft. Have them deposit their updates, the action items they completed, push a button at the end of the day, and our team calls it the touch base. And then we do have a 4 o'clock touch base because I know there's 1 hour in the business day that if something has to be fixed, if I have to jump in and solve something, I can do it. So again, your role as a boss, clear on the assignments, realistic deadlines, make sure they understand what you want, and then follow up on their progress. Now, we don't have a lot of time to go through this today, but again, going back to, if you are burning through assistance, what is the common denominator? It's you. So on the slide here, you'll see some things that you'll not want to do if you want them to stay. So take a minute and look at the slide. Which of these have you been guilty of? So as I look at this one, I can say that one that I've been guilty of has been not at times giving them my 100% focus when we meet. And I am really working hard to correct that. You know, shut everything down, put them in my calendar, and I find that we get a lot more done more quickly. So I want you to look at this list, 10 things not to do if you want them to stay. Identify the 1 or 2 that you need to correct, and then we'll help you with it. All right, what to do if you've made a bad hire? I always look at myself first. Have I failed? Have I done everything I can do to support them? Am I sure that I'm being realistic? Have I been clear? So if the answer is yes, yes, and yes, and they're just not good, then I want to be sure that I carefully document and follow a good HR practice to fire them so that I don't get into any issues or challenges. Now, one of you had emailed me a question before the call and said, I need to fire someone. Do I give them 2-week notice? You know, I don't believe in firing someone and keeping them on. So while it may cost me a little bit of money, my best practice for me is I say, you know, Pete, you're done. It's not working. Thank you so much. Here's your check for the next 2 weeks. And I wait till the end of the day and I say, here's a box for your things. Turn over your passcodes and keys. We are done as of today, but here's your check for 2 weeks. Now, this is just a good practice because are they going to do a good job for you? No. Do you want that bad apple training and poisoning the mind of your next person? No. So you really want to be careful on the exit process. Make sure you think that through and you have a good process in place to make that transition. All right. So do you need help and you don't know how to do it? You don't know how to find that right person. You have had it. You are sick of it. You cannot waste any more time. And you're just simply not good at managing and training your admin people. We can help you. And that's why we're here today. So one of the things you'll see on your screen is a brand new program that we've just launched. It's our Administrative Efficiency Training. Because as you see in that first line I said, when you have the right hire in the right role, your production will soar, quality of life will improve, and the right hire shouldn't cost you money, it will make you money. So in this administrative efficiency program, which guys, by the way, is truly one of our best values, most affordable programs, it's only $99 per month. For a 6-month program, we're going to take you on the first couple of calls and train you to be a better boss. Then we're going to take your admin person through a weekly 1-hour small group conference call live with me. And I'm going to teach them what you want them taught. Now, here's what I want to share with you guys. This is kind of an interesting twist on this. I am not an admin person. However, I'm very analytical, very strategic about how I build the systems and processes in the company. And so when I built this program, I decided that I needed to be the trainer in this program. Because as a real estate agent, a successful real estate agent, I have a husband who's still an active real estate agent, I know that I know what you want them to do. Right? So I know how you think. I know what you need. And I know what you suffer with. And also, in all of the coaching and training that we do, we hear from our great clients, our agents, every day where their administrative people are failing them and where they're frustrated. So I take those frustrations and I teach them how not to do that to you. So here's what the course includes. 6 months of training, weekly conference calls. They are live. So we have 45 minutes plus Q&A. If you want to hear those calls, you can join them with your admin. If you or your admin miss a call, they're all posted on our private members only website. So you can review them, download them. Maybe there's a critical section that you want to listen to together and create a game plan. Also, each week, we're going to send to you, and it's on average at least a 7-page outline. That's a chapter that goes into your administrative efficiency manual. So in addition to the content on the course that you'll be hearing with me, the recording to go back to as reference material, you're also going to be building piece by piece your complete administrative efficiency guide. Now, I am going to give them homework, but I'm only going to give them homework that's going to make you money and improve your systems because it is going to be very, very practical. And the other bonus is you and your assistant, even if you're not in our other coaching programs, will have access to me via email for any questions that you guys might have. And I do revamp, update, and improve the topics as we go. So if there's a particular area you're struggling with, you can reach out to me. Now, if you're listening to this call and you're already a Black Diamond member, you are already have access to this program, no additional fee whatsoever. Now, before the call too, Pete, we had 3 or 4 people asking about the other coaching programs. Was administrative efficiency the only course we offer? And of course it's not. So you'll see on your screen our Black Diamond program, which is really something that our brokers, large and small offices, gravitate towards, our teams, because it does include many different training programs, including administrative efficiency, along with private coaching and our one-time signing bonus where they can come in and sit and have a full day with me so we can create a great plan. Performance Plus, which is one of our most popular programs, gives you 36 private hours a year of coaching with a coach that's best suited for what you need, and 46 additional hours with me of Speak No Evil small group conference call training. Then our master's program, you have 2 30-minute private calls with your coach, and you also have access to a weekly 1-hour master's program training call small group live with me. So you have 2 30-minute calls and 4 conference calls a month. Now, something great for those of you who maybe have a friend, you would both like to be in coaching and you can't afford your own program, one of the Performance Plus or Black Diamond, would be the paired masters. The 2 of you can be on the 30-minute call together, split the cost in half, and share the calls and the conference calls. So Black Diamond, which includes 4 hours of private coaching a month, which is 46, let's see, 4 times 12, whatever that is per year, Pete, and also 138 hours of team training, plus many benefits, everything our program offers. Performance Plus is $1,500 a month with your 36 hours and 46 hours of conference calls. Master's program, 2 30-minute calls, and the 46 hours a year. That is $500 a month. Paired Masters is split, so it's $250 and $250 per person. And then Speak No Evil, which is our Power Persuasion course with me, 1-hour small group live per week at $199. And then, of course, our newest program, our Administrative Efficiency, at $99 per month. So guys, whatever your needs are, we do truly have a program that's right for you. We do not try to sell you something you don't need. We don't hard sell you because remember, as I said in the beginning of the call, we want your experience with us to be that we were gracious, that we were helpful, and that you received a lot of value. And that's exactly why we want to offer you again all of those free gifts we started off with promising you today. So if you write that down, excelleum.com/free gifts, excelleum.com free gifts. When you go there, we're going to give you a complimentary ticket to our upcoming event in Orange County in October. We're going to give you an opportunity to have the book for free, simply shipping and handling. And we're going to send you administrative efficiency checklist and a couple of other great pieces and tools that will help you begin the path to improving your back-end systems. Because you see, we want to build a business that is profitable, that is clean, that is streamlined, that is predictable, and removes some of this stress and anxiety that you carry around every day as you try to manage all the spinning plates that are going on in your world. Now, if you think that you really need coaching, and that now at this critical time in the year, having a coach would help you clean up, organize, create your game plan, finish strong, and ramp up for 2015, we're here to talk to you about it. So when you reach out to us, you can call us at the number on the screen, or you can register for a business strategy call. And when you do this, we're going to spend time with you. We're not going to rush you. We're going to talk with you, and we're going to help you figure out which of our tools and services would be just right, both financially and in terms of delivering what you need. Now, guys, this was such a big topic, and I know we're out of time. If you have additional questions, please feel free to call me at the number on the screen. Also, I'm going to give you my personal email, debbiedegrote@gmail.com. Debbie, DEGROTE, @gmail.com. So please feel free to reach out. And one last question, Pete, because I know I'm late for my next conference call and they all have to get back to work. What is the best way to present the applicant with the Anthony Robbins test? I tell them that it is not a tool that will help me determine whether to hire them or not. It's a tool that will help me understand them, communicate more effectively, and really find the right role and job description for them. And you know, I find they're usually pretty fascinated with it. Okay, everyone, so thank you for joining us. Pete, thanks for helping today. And please reach out at the number on the screen, thebusinessstrategycall.com, because, guys, you are on this call for a reason. You know you need help. We can help you. This is what we do. Call us today. Let's start this process so that we don't roll into 2015 bringing the bad habits, the lack of production, and the inefficiencies. Let's get you locked and loaded now. All right, and I will look forward to talking to all of you very, very soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for joining us.